loud, right? Hey, everybody, it's Dana,
And Angela.
and welcome to Dog Splaining. We um we feel like there ought to be a million topics out there that we can talk about, and we want you guys to tell us what they are. Tell us what you want to know, and
We
join
know
us.
what
I mean,
we know what we want to talk about. What do you want to talk about?
right, and we know what we know. We don't know what you don't know, and so yeah, help us figure that out. Join us in the conversation and make it a workshop that benefits everybody. So last week we talked about what to choose or what to look for in choosing a good pet sitter. I think we could do what to look for on a million topics, but today we're going to talk about dog food again. And sometimes I think I know what I know, and I don't always keep in mind there are always new people sort of falling into finding us and trying to figure out how to get started.
Yeah.
So I think this is a good place for them to kick things off. So um where would you like to begin this? Because you're probably having this conversation in a different capacity than I do with your training clients. I think
Yeah,
when they call me, their dog is unwell, and you
right.
just tend to see the I'm stuck feeding the kibble or the hydrolyzed food or the whatever when they show up with the back of it for you.
Yeah. Well, and it's also hard to get them to understand that nutrition and behavior are so linked.
Oh, yeah.
Then they want to know, well, what do you recommend? And I have to stop and hold my breath and go, oh, this is painful.
Right.
Because
'Cause there are
it's not
many,
as
many
easy.
choices. Yeah, there are many, many choices. Just talking about that behavior link, I had a didn't even become a client. Somebody called me recently and said the dog was on like its third home, had a bite history, and they were considering euthanasia. And I said, I'm happy to come consult with you. This is kind of stuff that I do, but one of the things we're going to talk about is nutrition and vaccines and all that jazz. And she's like, there is no possible way that that's related.
Hmm.
And I'm like, but there is. And so I sent her resources that I have, and I never heard from her again. And that just makes me really sad that people, whether it's a behavior issue or an allergy or health condition of some sort, they don't realize how important nutrition is to the outcome.
For everything, yeah. Well, and I think
Yeah.
it starts with they don't understand how it works for themselves. And so
Right.
sometimes I back up and I'm like, okay, think about your body. When you eat McDonald's, you feel like crap. When your dog
Right.
eats kibbles and bits, they feel like crap. And sometimes that makes it click, and other times they don't buy into it because I don't know why they don't buy into it, honestly. It's something that I bought into easily when I first was made aware of what was happening with kibble. I don't
Yeah.
know.
And the when I started doing the board and train is when the nutrition piece kicked off for me because I was like you, seeing so many dogs with all these behavioral issues. Or a year or two after training, I would get a call from the pet parent telling me that the dog had some illness or died or whatever the scenario. And I'm like, how is this even happening? What is going on here? And that's what sent me down the path of looking into the why and the how
Yeah.
and got into the nutrition side of it. So
Well, because you are a certified animal nutritionist,
I wasn't then.
but you are now.
Yeah.
And so if I walked up to you off the street and I said, "What kind of dog food would you recommend?" Without going into the kibbles killing your dog, how do you approach that question?
Well, for those of you who've been around me for a while, I always have more questions than I have answers. So if you want me to start there, I would, but it's what's your budget, what's your goal, and what's your time commitment, right? Because I can absolutely go in the kitchen and whip up a recipe that's going to be balanced for the dogs.
Yes.
I don't enjoy that.
No, it's a lot of work.
I don't enjoy the shopping and the chopping and the freezing and the all of the stuff. Um, but there are many people who don't mind that at all, you
Yeah.
know. So that that's sort of where I start is what's your goal and how much investment in the time commitment do you have? And so let's assume that they say I want best of the best, right? Um, and the budget is no obstacle. Then I'm going to be suggesting things like the 80-10-10 grinds or the Dr. Harvey base mixes that has no synthetics in it. Um, I'm going there, especially if they want a little more convenience, which is what I like.
Yeah.
So it's the base mix, everything you need except the meat.
Yep.
Super easy, high end. My dogs eat that pretty regularly. Alternatively, we bring in some of the 80-10-10 grinds from places like Evermore or BJ's Raw or Raw Delivery MN. And what I love about those is I can get a big variety of proteins that I wouldn't have access to in the regular grocery store.
Yeah, definitely.
Uh, yeah. If we need to bring in some of those veg medleys or we're customizing for a kidney dog or a cancer dog, then I'm going to be looking at things like Chi Dog or Viva Raw, solutions of, choices like that.
Raised right. I'll throw that one in there.
Yeah.
We're a
Yeah, there are
ra-
many.
we're
There are
we're a
many, many,
raised
many.
right household.
Yeah. But you've also been Medica and Chi Dog.
We've gone all through them.
You're in that because you're trying to find something she will actually eat now due to her health conditions,
Yeah.
which, by the way, have been managed exceptionally well for the last 2.5 years.
Almost. Yeah. Well, we're
Yeah,
at
so
the
that's
2 year
amazing.
mark.
So that's a whole different conversation. I try a variety of things because I want to be able to say to my clients, I like this food, I don't like this one, and here's why, or
Right.
my dogs didn't like it, or whatever that was, or what the experience of buying from those companies actually is.
Yeah.
So,
Now, my little burning up allergy dog, Merlin, he's on raised right. And paired with some herbs and some homeopathies, but I am
mhm,
happy to report that he is not red and inflamed today.
that's awesome.
We've made a couple recent changes, and I'm really hopeful we're gonna grow some hair back and he's gonna look like a normal little dog soon.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's taken me a year to get him to this point. So I
right.
always tell people too, like this isn't an overnight process. Like we're redefining how the body is breaking down foods and how it's using this and that for what it needs to be healthy.
And healing takes time. Suppression takes zero time,
Yes.
right? Healing and recovery and what did you call rebuilding? That's from the
Yeah.
inside out and in reverse order. I mean,
Yeah.
that's going to take some time.
We're
And a little bit
basically
of
rewriting everything that the dog's body knows currently about food and nutrition and changing that program for the dog.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, good news for little Merlin. It is
Yes.
Merlin, right?
Yeah, well, his government name's a little different, but we call him Merlin. His government name is actually Al Capone because he's kind of a butthead.
Oh, wow. Awesome. Okay.
But you know what? Like he's getting his skin looks better and also his attitude is better.
Well, I mean, if
He's
my skin was on fire, I would be a royal, you know what, so
Yeah. Like he's playing with dogs again and he's meeting people and not trying to chew their ankles up. Like he's he's becoming a happy little dog. He's sort of the poster model for take your time and figure out what works and see the results. It's worth it.
Yeah, work through the layers. So, all right. So we kind of got off subject there a little
Yeah.
bit. And I'm not sure I answered the question in the way you wanted me to. So,
No, because it's not and I know every dog is different. Every person's coming to you and I with different needs and I need to change this for my dog. I like I'm just curious I know where I start. I know my people are not gonna immediately buy into you need to get them off kibble and change that. I start with let's add some things that the body needs. And then I hope that they see some results, and then I start leaning towards, okay, well, you saw this change. Now, if we switch to a better food, you're going to see even more change. Like, I kind of have to take it really slow, as where when they come to you, they're ready for a
right.
change right now.
They're in a different mindset. They
Yeah.
come to you and go, "Why are you talking to me about food? I just want my dog to sit. I just want him to sit down."
I need my dog to sit for more than half a second. Okay, well, that's attention span. That comes with nutrition.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess, often when I'm talking to people on the phone, because I do get a fair amount of those calls, they don't need a consultation. They just need a point in the right direction to improve their dog's food.
Yeah,
And that reminds me, this girl asked me how to make food recently, and I need to check in on them. Um, One of the easiest things I tell them, if the budget permits, one of the easiest approaches is something like the Dr. Harvey's
yeah,
base mix, add the meat. If that isn't in their wheelhouse, then I look at something like Simply Earth, not Simply Earth, Simple Food Project. Simple Earth is essentials. Simple Food Project, which looks a lot like kibble. So it travels a lot like kibble. It feeds like kibble, scoop it in the bowl, but there's nothing synthetic in it. Everything you need is in there, high quality. Um, I can't remember if it's dehydrated or freeze dried, but in that wheelhouse of preparation. And I have shared that with countless people, and their dogs love it.
yeah.
That's an easy, easy switch. Little more pricey than what you would buy in the pet store in
Yeah,
most
but
cases.
kibble's so expensive now anyway, since
I
COVID. I
know.
can't believe what it costs to buy a bag of kibble.
But then I step back and say, there are other ways I think I can save you some money and offset the cost,
Mm-hmm.
and I get it. Today's dollar feels very different than 12 years from now when your dog is older and you're thinking about vet costs. But it really does sort of transfer into the future as well.
Yeah,
So, those are probably the top two hitters that I share out the most often, unless somebody wants to have like a raw delivery service.
right. Which is really convenient.
Super convenient.
So
And
easy.
ultimately, it works out unless you're feeding really giant dogs and massive quantities of them.
Yeah,
It,
true.
it tends to work out pretty favorably, at least for me, it did or does. Um, the investment in a freezer was absolutely worth it. Um, and I stay out of the rut. I can get rabbit and duck and venison and bison and quail and all sorts of proteins that I would never have access to otherwise.
Yeah. And for anybody out there that's new, there's a lot of value in novel proteins
And
because,
rotation, because we
yes,
can actually create a food intolerance by feeding the same thing all of the time. So
correct.
I tell people, even if you're going to stay in a kibble, in brand, they often have, hold on, there's motorcycles going by. Apologize. I'm sitting outside enjoying the sunshine. Um, they will usually have multiple protein choices in
Yeah,
the same style of food.
sure.
So at least with every bag, rotate the protein.
Rotate proteins. Yep.
Yeah. So that's a good option. But to your point about toppers, that's an easy thing to start adding. It may be more trouble for some because they're not preparing the shopping and the chopping and the leftover broccoli or whatever, right? Um, so adding those food toppers is usually pretty easy for most. But if I were feeding a food that had synthetics in it, that would be my first switch to try to find one that doesn't.
Yeah. Clean food.
And even if I were going to add a whole food vitamin mineral supplement, and there's some good ones from like Dr. Harvey, Dr. Tobias, um, Herb Smith, they all have good quality products that don't have synthetics in them. Um, and Herb Smith, by the way, is the manufacturer of Simple Food Project. Um, But if you add a whole food vitamin mineral supplement to a highly synthetic, overprocessed food, you're not adding a lot of real nutrition. That's where people will say you can't outrun a bad diet.
Right.
I mean, you can pixie dust it a little bit, make some improvements, but you're still having to overcome all those synthetics and processed ingredients.
Yeah. I think when I do approach it, I'm sort of hopeful that the dog decides, hey, this good stuff's really good, and they start turning away the bad stuff. And then it helps back up my point a little bit.
Yeah,
And that actually has happened. I've suggested, a really good quality topper, and then the dog will eat the topper and stop eating the kibble. And then we have the conversation. Your dog knows what its body needs. Your dog's now
yeah,
taking the good ingredients that are good for him and helping him feel good, and he's turning away the ingredients that he knows are not good for him.
yeah. And interestingly enough, I think there's some dogs and people who struggle with that shift. They will resist the good stuff,
Mhm.
right? Um, and I always say it's like you were saying a minute ago, it's always given the choice to a kid of McDonald's versus broccoli. If the only thing they've ever known is McDonald's, which one are they going to choose? Right? And they're going to resist and argue with you over the broccoli and the salad. They just are. They're like, this is not that. And a dog's not really any different. They're not gonna. So you start with a little bit and stir it in and build your way to having a reasonable size topper. So veg medleys are easy to make, or bone broth is easily to make. Kefir is easy, or to purchase even. Kefir is easy to get at the grocery store or a pet store. So those toppers are easy to do.
Yeah.
I
Sauerkraut.
like,
My dogs love sauerkraut.
I
It
do too.
smells horrible, but they love it.
Yeah, I do too. It's easy to add a real food topper, in my opinion, before you add a supplement. So speaking of sauerkraut and kefir,
Yeah.
there's your probiotic. You don't
Mm-hmm.
have to go buy one. In most cases, you don't have to do that if you're varying the ingredients around and being consistent with their use.
Yeah. And a probiotic or a whole food probiotic is usually one of the first places I try to start with people too. Like we have to improve gut health, and it's not all about switching food. Like there's dysbiosis in the gut. Like we have to fix that while we're switching to a healthy food for the body.
Hmm. Yeah. And digestive enzymes are something to consider adding. So, you ever heard the term kibble is dead food,
No,
right?
I
It's
haven't, but it makes sense.
exactly. So it's dead food. It has no energy to it. There's nothing live, like no live enzymes in it. Real food has live enzymes in it.
Right. Kibble's
Kibble has
so
all that's been cooked
processed.
away.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they even sprayed on fat to get it to taste okay again. Otherwise, and they've tested this. put down kibble that has not been sprayed with the fat, and the dog's like, I don't even know what that is. I'm not touching it.
Hmm.
So anyway, digestive enzymes are one of the things that I will often add during a transition to fresh food. Start putting them in
Hmm.
so that we don't have all that transition discomfort until the body starts using the digestive enzymes that are going in from the food and learning how to make its own.
Yeah.
So,
Slightly off topic, but a question for you that I just thought of. Um, Prepared foods, a lot of them do say that they have probiotics in it. Is that ever an amount of probiotic that is sufficient to support a healthy gut? Or is it always going to be a little less than what's needed, especially if you're trying to address an issue that you know you have an issue
it's
you're
probably low, right? And probably most probiotics that people are purchasing from the big retailers online are low. They're
yeah.
at a sub maintenance level, if you ask me. What I look for is multiple strains
Mm-hmm.
and that it's at least 4 billion CFU. For some dogs, I've gone as high as 50.
Yeah.
That's a lot. Um, but for most, the dog isn't getting enough to overcome the bad bacteria that's in the gut. So when you hear a number like 4 billion colony forming units, that's per whatever little dose, that's how much good bacteria went in with that dose, right? If it needed 2 times that amount to overcome the bad bacteria in the gut, what's the 4 going to do?
Yeah.
So you have to, and I tell people ramp up real slow. Let's watch for the results, but we might have to increase the amount. So most things that have a maintenance dose are too low for the kind of issues that I see, or the people that are struggling with these chronic allergies and things of that nature. They're not getting enough of the good stuff to actually fix it. And that's why they resort to the Apoquels and Zenrelia and all of those kinds of things. Even Omega. How surprised were you at the number I told you to go to last week?
I know. And I've heard from the Omega expert too, like the research that he's done, and pretty much his claim after all the research he's done is you're not gonna find the needed level of omegas that has DHA and none of your prepared commercial diets are gonna have enough in it for what you need.
Fact. I agree with that. And certainly not the kibbles.
Right. Because it's all getting burned out when they process it at high
Well,
temperature.
even if they add it after the cooking process, they're not adding enough,
Yeah.
right? And we'll talk about what enough is in a minute, but they're not adding enough. And depending on how long it took you to get through that bag of food, or how long that food sat on the shelf before it was sold, and how many transfers between hot and cold facilities and trucks and all of those things, it went rancid before you started using it,
Yeah.
which is even worse.
Yeah. Yeah, we always add a good high quality probiotic to every dog
Yeah,
in this house. I
yeah,
mean, omega, sorry.
right.
Because omega
Um,
treats everything. It's good for
we
pretty
can't live without it. We
you
all need it for
yeah,
sure.
you
So
name it, it helps.
what I find when somebody sends me their list of supplements and they've got omega whatever, um, it's usually in the range of 50 to 75 milligrams per kilogram of body weight.
Hmm.
Okay. Now, I can't do that math in my head at the moment. I actually have a chart that I just look across and go, this is how much you need. But it's usually 50 to 75 milligrams per kilogram of body weight. If I have a dog with allergies, I'm in the neighborhood of 200 milligrams. If I have
Yeah.
arthritis, I want to be in that 200 range. If I have a dog cancer, I'm in the 300 milligram per kilogram of body weight per day.
Yep.
Harvey takes the same amount right now that Poppy takes, and she's 3 times his size.
Yep.
Why? Because his brain's on fire, right? So you can overdo it in giving too much fat, which is why Harvey the amount Harvey gets is 1 teaspoon, but it's made for extra large dogs. So I'm not giving him a big volume. I'm still getting the desired amount of omega-3.
Yeah.
And so I know we're kind of off the subject of which food to choose. We can come back to that in a minute, but that also reminds me to say most people, especially these kibble feeders, do not need to supplement an omega-3 6 9. You need the three only, right? Omega-6 is very prevalent in things like chicken. Um, well, chicken is probably one of the biggest ones, but is highly inflammatory. The body needs some level of inflammation in the body, right, to do the things that it has to do. But if you are trying to overcome inflammation and you keep raising 369 together, you're never going to overcome that inflammation
Yeah. Just
range.
increasing everything.
Yeah. So,
Okay. Back to kibble. Or
yeah.
no, I shouldn't say back to kibble. Back to choosing an appropriate diet for your animal.
Yeah. Gosh, it's been so long since I went into like a PetSmart or a pet store of any kind. um, if I were going to send somebody, if somebody called me today and said, I'm in this crisis, I'm actually going to send them to get some turkey and some vegetables at the grocery. We're not doing the chicken and the rice thing. But I might look at like an honest kitchen kind of thing. So they also have the option of a protein inclusive meal or a base mix that you add meat to as well. So I like those options.
Yep.
Um, I personally, I'm going to try to steer somebody away from kibble any way that I can.
Yeah. Same. And I do go into pet stores because I buy treats for the
Yeah,
boarding
you're
house.
taking training dogs out.
And I have been pleasantly surprised to see more options as far as freeze dried, air dried,
Yeah.
um instead of just kill and even the staff are becoming better knowledge at making recommendations to people because I listen. I'm always listening.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think, and if you go to certain pet stores, you're going to see things like Instinct or Stella and Chewy's and,
Yeah,
those pre-frozen patty kind of things that they're not bad.
they're better. They're not the best.
They're way better than kibble ever thought about being.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to that for somebody that's trying to work their way through the transition. Um, but I usually do say if you'll give me a few minutes of time and let's review what you're supplementing and your um like flea and tick meds and your heartworm meds and your whatevers, I think I can offset your budget enough to do this new thing, right?
Yeah. Well, and save
Like,
you on vet costs
yeah,
is
I mean,
the big ticket item.
and I'll just give you an example. And I haven't bought heartworm medicine in a really long time, but I was talking to a client the other day, and I'm like, you have three big shepherds. You can go to the Tractor Supply and buy a bottle of sheep drench, the ivermectin, for probably around $50 or $60.
Oh, I don't even think it's that expensive.
Okay, good. It's been a while. And here's why. It's because I haven't bought any in a long time either, because what I have is still in the refrigerator.
The shelf life is long.
It's way longer than it, but you're only going to take this tiny little smidgen amount out of it. So it's that bottle's going to serve all three animals for the next several years for $50.
Yeah.
Whereas if you went to the to the veterinarian, I think, and bought Heart Guard, which they don't even make anymore, you got to get Plus, it was probably $50 a dog every month.
Easily.
Well, I just
And
say,
when you take that route, now you've got to make sure you're doing a detox every month to rid them of all the extra toxins that they put into those pills.
right. And I'm like, so I just saved you $150 a month.
There's your food.
What are we going to do now? Right. And so when you can start doing that kind of thing for certain families or people, then it starts to click in their brain. So, or the Apoquel shot or the Zenrelia shot or the whatever it may be. I'm like, how much are you spending on that? Let's reinvest that in your food, which is going to have a payoff in many other ways
Yep.
today and in the future.
And in longevity of your pet.
Yeah. And maybe a real longevity, right? Because I mean, I'm seeing dogs that are getting these medicines that are not with us within a few months of receiving them. Yeah.
Unfortunately.
So, and maybe I'll pull out a clip and share this, but I shared this in the newsletter or on Substack the other day. And I knew this because when I went to add it to my blog, I'm like, well, it's already in there. But that's how little I see Zenrelia anymore, right?
Oh, yeah.
If you're giving it, you are supposed to stop giving it at least 3 months prior to receiving vaccines. Well, A, I don't want you to have vaccines anyway.
Wow. And
But
B,
secondly,
think about the repercussions why they're making you do that.
right. So there was actually this letter written to the veterinary community to remind them and explain these details. And it literally calls it something about fatal event awareness. And it's like if you are giving this product and it's time for vaccine, don't do it.
Yeah.
Just don't do it until you've met this other criteria of how long prior and how long after you can go back to using the Zenrelia. I'm like, I bet there's nobody in the pet parent, well, I should say nobody, very few people in the pet parent community who actually know that.
Right. And that's disgusting, quite honestly, that there's something on the market that would be that harmful to your pet. That just screams red flag.
Well, sure.
And there's some other products that are on the market right now that have the same red flags. I won't even bring those names up right now because it doesn't relate to food.
We are good at running down rabbit holes, aren't we?
Don't get me started right now. It's all very fresh.
Yeah. So, but I mean, you know that when you go into a pet retailer, that the row in which the product is on is relative to the quality of the product.
I do. They do the same thing for us in grocery stores. I would hope
Yeah,
people pay attention to that, but I guess it's not common knowledge. They're not going to tell you. They're not going to tell you when you walk in the door what aisle to look for based on
right,
what your needs are. They just have them all categorized by brand.
right. So that's a place to consider. And then seriously, on my website, go read how to identify dog food ingredients. Like I
Mhm.
have all the common things listed there. What does that term even mean? Like if you see something called meat meal versus chicken meal, it means we don't know what kind of meat it was.
Mhm. Yeah. I eat stuff like that every day, don't you?
We do not know what kind of meat it was. It could have been roadkill, right? And
It could
then
have been McDonald's.
chicken meal, though very high in protein, is not actually chicken muscle meat.
Right.
It's the discard, the leftover stuff. So yes, it has protein value, but it's not quality protein, if that makes sense.
You're not getting what you think you're getting if it says
Exactly.
chicken meal.
And even if it's listed on the label as, and I'm chicken's just common, right? Chicken first, what's the next ingredient or the next couple of ingredients? Because sometimes they will be protein sources that add up to a greater value of protein than the chicken did. And it might be plant protein.
Hmm.
Or, and one of the most common ones is peas. You'll see pea starch, pea meal, pea protein, peas. You'll see it listed on there 3, 4, 5 times in some format of peas.
Yeah.
It just meant they smashed it up and pulled out the different parts of it and called it something different so that they could spread it out across the marketing label.
Yeah. Without giving you the good quality protein that you need.
Right. Exactly.
It's mm,
I thought of something I was going to say and it escapes me. But yeah, so synthetics, it tell you how to identify synthetic vitamins and minerals. They're in there because if the body can't actually utilize it, you will eventually see some sort of symptom or failure of a system or whatever. And I think this is sometimes why we're struggling to overcome all these allergies and anxiety issues is that thinks the body needs a nutrient. We read the label and think everything's there, but it's not actually utilized. It's not bioavailable to the dog.
and long-term use of those types of products is creating cellular damage.
Sure.
Leaky gut syndrome, which is where all of these
Lipomas and
allergy symptoms are
cancers,
coming
and yeah,
from.
all of it for sure. That's what lipomas are. The body said, I don't know what to do with this. The liver couldn't process it and said, let me just store it in the fat.
Hmm.
I'm just going to tuck it away over here
Yeah.
because I don't know what else to do with it.
Hoarding it instead of getting rid of it.
Well, it can't get rid of it. It doesn't know
Yeah.
what to do with it.
Yeah. Yep. Um,
So yeah,
there's
vitamins,
one
minerals,
thing.
synthetics, they need to go if possible. So yeah, add your toppers, add your omega, add digestive enzymes, probiotics, maybe both. Um, but again, by the time you start adding up those products, how much more have you spent? And you could have purchased, uh, why can't I come up with the name of it? Simple Food Project or Dr.
Yeah.
Harvey's or whatever.
Yep. Anything
And
better.
yeah,
And one thing too that I remind my clients of a lot because they're getting other advice from other sources, and I'm not going to
sure.
call them out either. Um, but the organization that like we have the FDA that regulates human grade foods. The organization that regulates pet food is going is putting their stamp on things based on nutrition information from 20, 30 years ago. And that's something that nobody knows, nobody realizes. So the minimum requirements that this organization, and it's AFCO, right?
Mm-hmm.
The minimum requirements that they're giving pet food companies, telling them they have to have in their foods, does not meet the requirements that our dogs actually need to be healthy and thrive because it's based on old research.
Right. And the fact that it is a minimum means we're never going to hit optimum performance.
Correct.
Right.
Yes.
So, yeah, I'm always surprised when I see like Purina or whoever it is sponsor some of these big agility competitions and dog performance things. It just, it sort of blows my mind. Or service dog groups or therapy groups who wouldn't take Poppy because she's raw fed, but would take a kibble fed dog. Did you know that?
I did not, but I had to go to an emergency hospital one time with my dog, and when I told them she ate raw, they all put on gloves and acted like she was contaminated, and we walked out. I said, "You're not touching my dog ever again, and I'll
Yeah.
never go back there."
Yeah.
My
No,
dog's
Poppy, I
healthier
looked
than every
into it
dog in
many,
here.
I looked into it a really long time ago for therapy dog, like therapy dogs in it. You cannot feed raw and you can't be unvaccinated. Now she's
That
not
is
unvaccinated. She just won't continue to get them.
right.
But because of that, she would never pass. We wouldn't be permitted in the program.
That's mind-blowing to me.
And it hurts my soul when I think about service dogs and the amount of time, effort, value in so many ways these dogs provide that they're eating benefit or some craptastic kibble.
Yeah. Spend 20 grand to train your service dog and only expect 9 or 10 years of life out of them because you're forced to feed them garbage.
And that's assuming I mean, that's a lucky assumption. What about their joint health and what about their cognitive? And we're going to take all these topics. We're going to put them on your little roulette thing.
Yes.
But they're not getting those things that are really going to help enhance their performance for extra years.
Yeah. We're depending on these dogs to help people survive, but we're not helping them survive.
Right.
That's sad. I did
I
not
know.
realize that the organizations had requirements like that, or I guess
Oh,
it's
sure they do. They absolutely do.
I'm gonna have to do some research and rethink what organizations I refer people to.
Yeah. Well, like I have a friend who oh Lord, somebody's gonna mow the grass. We're gonna have to hang up in a minute. Um, she has two dogs that are doing therapy dog work. Um, she still feeds them kibble. She does make a veggie medley topper now, but her dogs are under the requirements of the organization that they participate in.
Wow. Well, the organization that I participate in, one of the topics of discussion that we go through in class is how to keep your dog healthy,
Yeah.
what to feed them.
Yeah. Feed them well, detox them often, all of those kinds of things. Sorry, I don't know who's mowing the grass. I hope it's not at my house. I don't think so. So,
Stick Harvey on them.
yeah, that's the only time I've ever heard him bark is at the lawnmower guy. But, I got his partially pets test back February time frame, and basically what it said for him was he was blowing through minerals. So even though he's eating a good food with nothing synthetic in it, that was not enough to sustain him.
Yeah,
So when you talk about the AFCO minimums, you got to look at the individual dog and go, is this animal getting what they need? He wasn't, so he gets supplemented minerals every day.
yeah. And another thing that makes me think of something else, the labels, the recommended feeding guides on these labels of pet food is so lacking in guidance. It's not taking into consideration pre-existing health conditions, age, activity levels. Like a lot of these bags of dog food just say puppy, adult, and senior, here's what you should feed. And there's so many more factors that you need to think about when you're choosing what to feed your pets and how much, because
Right.
pet
And so,
obesity is a horrible phenomenon right now.
yeah, it is, which contributes to many other issues.
Yeah.
But something I learned a few years ago was talking about those minimums again. The amount of vitamins and minerals in the amount they suggest to feed is what takes to meet that minimum daily requirement. So let's assume you got a dog that's eating or gaining weight or has gained or is too fat or whatever. And you say the feeding guideline says I should feed them a half a cup, right? And you reduce that to a third of a cup and add some green beans.
Now you've just made your dog mineral deficient.
Correct. You
Yeah.
just now went below the minimum
Yep.
because the only way to get that minimum on that product was to feed the amount of food they suggested.
Yeah. And then a lot of times too, what I've read about in studies is that minimum requirement is going into the mixture, but you're losing that quality when it's processed.
Oh,
So
processing ruins
they're putting
everything.
their
Yeah.
minimum requirements of vitamins and nutrients in it, but then they're burning it up, and then you lost probably half of what you actually needed. So that minimum requirement's not nowhere close to being efficient.
Hmm. Yeah. So now you're either talking about adding a supplement, right?
Hmm.
Or improving the food base itself.
Yeah. And I don't know. For me, convenience is a big factor with the number of dogs here. I'm always gonna go for convenience over having to add 4 or 5 supplements. Give me a food that I know is a good quality. I'm willing to pay more. It's less work for me and it's better for my dog.
Hmm. Um, I fed a different brand of food for many years until we could really no longer trust them.
Mhm. I did as well. I followed your lead.
Um, but Huey and Howie, they both miniature dachshunds lived to be over 20, each of them. They never had supplementation in their food until like the very end of their senior years.
Yeah.
We didn't supplement anything.
Good is the same way. I didn't add anything to her bowl until she got diagnosed with renal failure. And then we had
Hmm.
to amp up the game and support the kidneys and the liver and the heart and everything else.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, did I cover your question? What would you ask them? Hey, Angela, I'm bringing my dog to you and I'm feeding this craptastic food. What would you suggest instead?
Well, like yourself, I have questions. What's your dog's activity level? What's your dog's cognitive abilities? Can your dog problem solve? Is your dog, agile? Is your dog lazy? Like, what are the behavior concerns you have? What health issues do you have? And then usually my brain explodes and I go, okay, here's where we start.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Because there are, I don't know, thousands of dog food brands on the market right now. I mean, just a
Oh.
bazillion of them, right?
I wonder how many is on the Thrickston list. I mean, it's an
He's
extensive
got quite a
list.
few actually now, but I don't know. I haven't bought that in a while. But even though you and I can point to several quality brands, the individual needs to be considered.
Hmm.
The animal, right? Not just the convenient for the pet parent or the budget, which matters, but what does that animal actually need? Is an 80-10-10 grind better for them for a while to reset everything? And then we add in some veg foods later. I don't know. It depends on the individual. It depends on how toxic they are today or how
Yeah.
on fire their brain is, that kind of thing.
Yeah. And one thing that we haven't even mentioned in this conversation is the fact that sometimes I just recommend a protein change. If I've got
Yeah.
a hot dog that's got a hot temper and you're feeding them something like venison, I'm gonna say, okay, we need to get a cooling protein in here ASAP. Then let's reassess what happens after we
Mhm.
just do a protein change.
I have seen that alone make a difference.
I have as well. I saw a dog that was over a year old, had not had a heat cycle yet. And all I did was suggest a protein change. And within a few months, the dog was like thinking better, was not so crazy hyper, and had a heat cycle. And now she's 3 now, and she's a wonderful dog.
Hmm.
And I mean, she's still eating kibble. She could probably be more healthy, but just that little change made a huge difference for that one dog.
Right. I've seen it. Little Bentley, he was my first.
Oh, Bentley. You have lots of stories about Bentley.
Well, he was the first dog that I actually saw food change behavior
Yeah.
in a big way.
Yep.
So, and he, I see it in Harvey also. I still feel like we got some work to do with Harvey. I still know his heavy metals, but I can't detox him all of the time, right? We've got to take some breaks. But the fact that I learned he wasn't using minerals well was a big clue. So I was able to
Yeah.
get that under control and do some work there. So, and I took him to the vet yesterday, and I question whether I should even say this on something that gets recorded and will be around for a long time. But she's like, "How's he doing?" And I'm like, "He's fantastic." And she's like, "Have we had any episodes?" And I'm like, "No." And so she's like, "Thank goodness." And in her head, she's like, "The meds are working." In my
Uh,
brain, everything
yep.
else is working. So no, I mean, I haven't taken him off the medications yet, and it's going to be a while before I do. And trust me, I will be scared to death to start that downward taper. But
But in
I'm
your
convinced.
world with Harvey, the medication is a backup. It's not your primary focus for him.
Yeah, yeah, we still. I mean, yeah. So Chinese herbs, acupressure, not acupressure, acupuncture. Is that right?
Hmm.
Chiro, um, food, heavy metal detox. We're on our third, fourth time. We need to get started on the fourth round. So, and
Have
I
you
at the
done have you done any aquapuncture?
aquapuncture? No.
Yeah. It's something Gouda and I just learned about. She gets B12 acupuncture now.
Ah, Harvey does get a vitamin B supplement every day. Of course, so do I. No, I haven't. We don't have those interesting things around here.
Well, you know who to talk to about
I do, and I'm seeing her in a
it.
couple weeks.
Yeah.
We need to have her come on, talk to us sometime.
Oh, she's so good, so wonderful. She saved
Hmm.
my dog's life. No doubt
Yeah,
about it.
yeah.
Yeah, it's much like dry needling where you put the B12 goes right into the meridians. That's where we put them in, is to the meridians that we're looking to move energies around from. It's very
Wow, I need
fascinating.
that.
I
Do they do it
know.
for people? I'm gonna go get that. My little holistic place up, in Calabash that does the hyperbaric chamber and the vitamin IVs and all of the stuff that I love, they
Yeah.
closed.
Oh no.
I know. I'm not happy.
Well, time to make a day trip or an
Yep,
overnight trip.
exactly. So anyway, all right. Well, we're off tangent again. Anything to add?
Just ask questions. If you're even thinking about switching foods, if the thought ever crossed your mind that food might make a difference, ask the questions and let someone help you make good
Yeah.
decisions.
And at the risk of quoting things that other people have said, something fresh is better than nothing fresh.
Hmm.
So add a veggie, piece of fruit periodically. Um, and I meant to say this earlier. A lot of people want to add meat to the kibble bowl. I tend to add vegetables first so that we're getting those vitamins and minerals first. Not that meat doesn't have some of them, um, but I would add vegetables first, maybe a little bit of organ meat next, and then I would move into the proteins. And by that point, we're teaching you how to make real food.
Yeah. And I do want to add one other thing, and it's negative, and I hate even taking this approach to things. But as soon as you listen to this podcast, and we hope you're listening, by the way, your algorithm is going to start throwing ads at you for commercial dog foods. Keep in mind that a lot of that stuff is AI generated. Those doctors that are claiming this, sometimes those doctors don't even exist. Do your research. Don't listen to the marketing. Marketing is, they put thousands of dollars in it for a reason because they know that if you know the truth, you're not going to buy the product.
Yeah.
That's my spiel.
Yeah. All right, my friends. Thank you for joining us. We love our rabbit holes and our discussions, and we would love to have you participate with us.
Yeah. Give us another
So
rabbit hole to go down.
give us many, yes. And so, Angela, tell them how they can contact you.
If you want to get in contact with me for training and or some preliminary nutrition discussion stuff, it will be 456 K9Coach at gmail.com. That's K9Coach spelled out. So number four, number five, number six, K9Coach at gmail.com. Hope to hear from you
Sound,
soon.
sounds awesome. All right, everybody. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.
Goodbye.
Farewell. Au revoir.
Eat well.